Welcome to Autism ADHD TV. It is the place to be for parents and professionals. I'm your host, Holly Blanc Moses, the mom psychologist who gets it. We dive into all kinds of important information like behavior, social skills, and learning. All right, let's get started. Sometimes children with autism and or ADHD struggle with understanding time. They have trouble seeing past the moment. It doesn't come so naturally for them to see what's coming up in the future, to plan for goals. And this explains why also they have trouble seeing the future consequences of their own behavior. They are kind of stuck in this what they want or what they don't want in that moment, and that can kind of set up some difficult situations for them. Oftentimes I see that differently wired children kind of struggle with this idea that their non-preferred activities will literally take forever and they will never get to do what they want. So it can be difficult as far as parenting and teaching students. It could be difficult as a therapist to recognize that engaging differently wired children in things that they may not necessarily want to do. I mean, it's really hard for them. It's not that they just don't want to do it. It feels like it is infinity for them, infinity that they'll have to do these terrible things that they don't like or that feel uncomfortable to them. Again, this is another reason they have difficulty working toward short and long term goals. It can definitely be a challenge. Being able to see that far into the future, maybe to treasure box on Friday can feel like forever, or the end of the semester, or the weekend, that can feel very far away. What I found is one of the best ways to help our children, our students, our clients is to make time visible. And that's why I love the Time Timer Plus. It's an effective way to do just that. So, the Time Timer is a device that has a red disc, and you move the dial and set the minutes that you want. And that red disc slowly ticks away. I actually have one right here for those who are watching on Autism ADHD TV. So I'm going to go ahead and move that timer, that red disc, and you can see that it slowly ticks away and the child can actually see time pass. Now, what I found is it doesn't matter if a child can or cannot currently tell time. This is completely different because with the time timer, they can see the time tick away. And I use this behavior tool at my office with my clients and also with my two differently wired boys at home. And I use it for myself because I often get scattered in all authenticity. I get scattered with the things that I'm trying to balance, and I literally have to see the time so I can keep myself on track. So today I'm going to talk about 5 ways that I love to use the Time Timer Plus to support differently wired children. Now, I'm talking about 5 ways, but there are actually countless ways that I use the timer. But for the sake of time, we're going to only chat about 5 today. Okay, number 1, electronics use. So it oftentimes, a child may have a meltdown when you tell them that, they have to wait longer to get their iPad. Or if you use the term later, that may feel like forever to them because later doesn't really make a lot of sense. And that can really cause some anxiety for them. So seeing time can help them see past the feeling that this is impossible, moving from it's impossible to it's possible to wait, right? So we're showing them the time. It's always a good idea to pay attention and see how long they can currently wait for their electronic and then set the timer for that amount of time to start. And then you can gradually increase that time. Another way for electronics is that you can show them how much time they have on the electronic before they take a break, and then set it again and show them when they get access again. Now, a second way I love to use the time timer is to teach turn taking. So when a child struggles with turn taking, it tells us that they need extra support in that area. Again, they may feel like it will be forever until it's their turn again, even if they just got a turn. What you want to do is take an average of how long the child can tolerate waiting for their turn, set the timer for that amount of time. Let's look at an example. Maddie could only tolerate waiting for 1 minute before she had a meltdown, before it was her turn again. So set the timer for a little less than 1 minute and then gradually increase the time so she can see that her turn is coming. And that can really make a big difference for anxiety. It can also make a big difference for social interactions. The third way I like to use the time timer is to talk about more difficult or uncomfortable topics. And, let's look at an example actually. If a parent wanted to discuss a difficult peer interaction their child had at school, they may want to set the timer for 1 minute to show that this will be over in 1 minute. We're only going to talk about it for 1 minute. This is much more doable and it makes the conversation far less overwhelming. They may be more likely to be open to talking about difficult topics in the future because they can see that the time is not forever. It is only a short amount of time, and really helping students and clients and our children be able to talk about difficult things is a great way to open up that communication. And sometimes we have to start at a very short amount of time, again, to make it less anxiety provoking and more doable for them. And as they feel more comfortable and you praise them for sharing information with you, you can gradually increase that time. This is a great strategy to work for parents, for educators, and clinicians. The fourth way I like to use the time timer is for bathroom reminders. So it's common for differently wired children to be very distracted. They might get really into playing their video games and they may not notice those their body's clues that they have to use the bathroom. And they also may not want to stop that preferred activity to go to the bathroom. So setting the timer is not only helpful to remind the child, but also to remind the parent or the teacher or the therapist because we get busy too. The fifth way I like to use the time timer plus is to make chores more doable. So if you're interested in having your child learn a chore, you want to first identify their current ability to do that chore and sort of align your expectation with their current ability. So let's look at an example. If you've asked your child to pick up their clothes and put them in the hamper and you find yourself frustrated and that's understandable. It's best to take a few steps back and consider that maybe setting the timer can make it more doable for your child and they could be less anxious because they can see when they can stop. You can use the same method for many chores, and once your child's successful, you can set the timer for a little longer and fade away your assistance in the way that best supports them. And I've used this strategy with my clients and also with my own kids. If they see that it's not going to last forever and you're helping them, maybe it's only 1 minute and it doesn't feel impossible, they're going to be so much more likely to be successful with your instruction. So if we continue to give them instructions and they continue to melt down, we have to again take that step back and see what can we do better. And again, it's the same thing with school. If we continue to give the same instructions or we have the same expectations for the amount of work and it's not working, we can see that it's not working for that child. That means we need to take a step back and really just figure out what does work for them. and collaborate with them. Would you rather pick up the clothes for 1 minute or 2 minutes? And they can decide and have some choice in that. Or if you are looking at a worksheet, do you think that you can finish the whole sheet, or would you like to do half? You let me know what works best for you. Again, it makes what we're asking more doable, and they feel less anxious and therefore will be more likely to participate. So make sure to look in the notes to get your time timer, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes. If you like this episode, please share it with someone. It may just be what they need to watch today. If you're a parent, I'd love if you came on over and joined our Facebook group, Autism ADHD Group for Parents. If you're a therapist or educator, come on over to our group, Autism ADHD Group for Therapists and Educators. You're going to find those links right down there in the notes. Thanks so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.
All content provided is protected under applicable copyright, patent, trademark, and other proprietary rights. All content is provided for informational and educational purposes only. No content is intended to be a substitute for professional medical or psychological diagnosis, advice, or treatment. Information provided does not create an agreement for service between Holly Blanc Moses Crossvine Clinical Group, the interviewee, Holly Blanc Moses LLC, and the recipient. Consult your physician regarding the applicability of any opinions or recommendations with respect to your symptoms or medical condition or the symptoms or medical condition of your family member. Children or adults who show signs of dangerous behavior toward themselves and/or others should be placed immediately under the care of a qualified professional.